Today we will pick up a very interesting topic on destiny and free will. Is everything pre-planned for us before we are born, or is it something that we can do with our own hands? Can we change our destiny? I'll ask Swami Vijay, an experienced hand in spiritual path, to answer this wonderful question which all viewers may have. I would like to pose a question to you which often people ask. When we are born, is everything predestined, or is it that something we can do with our own hands? Should one work towards it, or should one wait passively for the destiny to unfold? Please give your views on it.
Well, of course, here in India, it's quite common for people to have an astrological chart done when they're born. And it really is quite amazing when gifted astrologers read the chart and say so many things that end up being correct. And you go, wow, who's doing what? And that's an important question. Who is doing what? We think we're doing something. We're living. But there is a larger truth that's taking place, which is that universal consciousness, which we call God, who creates, maintains, and then reabsorbs the creation itself, is a larger single reality. And in that larger reality, our perception of space and time and action, it's not God's view. It's the very limited view of the soul connected to the body so completely that we forget the soul and we think, oh, I am only this body personality, and that the time on the clock is the definition of how life proceeds. And so the logic that we grew up with in school tells us that, we're on a timeline, we're on the train tracks. And actually, being on the train tracks is one of the ways the question is addressed. How much free will do we have? And I believe it was Anandamoy Ma who said that we're on the train. We can't get off the train, but we can move around in the train. So that gives a beginning. There is a playing field of free will, but it has limitations. The teaching is that when you come out of that universal consciousness into the mineral kingdom, and then you evolve spiritually through it, and as gradually more and more advanced life forms until you get to the highest form, which is the human form. And the reason that the human form is the highest is because we have the centers in the spine which are capable, the system for reconnecting to universal consciousness, which the other animals who seem maybe more evolved at times, they don't have that same inner equipment and aren't able to reunite their consciousness, individualized consciousness, with infinite consciousness. So, but in God, there's no past, future. It's all now. So if it's all now, which we can't quite understand how we can perceive past and future, but it's all now, it must be completely predestined. Paramahansa Yogananda said that somebody read his chart and said to him that because of this chart you can't do such and such. And Yogananda said, give me a challenging task on the worst day to do it, and I will do it. So that means, well, you could say it was predestined for him to say that, so I could repeat it. So we tend to think that there's only one right answer. We're either predestined or we have free will. And actually, what it is a simultaneous truth. It's kind of both. And to describe, I don't know that it's really possible to describe exactly how that confluence takes place. The confluence of the Ganga and the Yamuna, the water comes together, and now which is which? It becomes one. So, in God's view, the epic amount of time of the creation is just, it's like either endless or it's just a moment. It makes no difference because you're comparing it to infinity. We can't conceive of
One question
infinity.
arises here. It's also said that when you take an action out of your own free will, even that is governed by the destiny. You will take that certain action at that time.
Well, you can take a very practical approach to this because ultimately, I can say, look, this is what Yogananda said. He is in a better position than I to comment on the subject. But from a very practical view, which is a more beneficial way to look at it? So if I say that it's all predestined and I'm just going to sit back and let it all happen, Krishna says that inaction, the attempt to have inaction, is an action.
Right.
So you could say, well, it was predestined for me to sit back and do nothing. Okay, so meet people who sit back and do nothing. Is that a pleasant circumstance? So experiment. Find out for yourself because the most important answer to the question is, can I improve my circumstance?
Right.
Can I be happier? Can I do better in life? For whatever it is that you think doing better is it possible for me to affect it? And Yogananda said, absolutely you can. We are controlled to a large degree by our karma from the past. So we have all this baggage. It's all part of the train. And we can't get rid of that baggage until we achieve a sufficient level of evolvement to use it in bulk, to get rid of bulk baggage. And that's where the deeper techniques like Kriya Yoga are beneficial to the yogi, to the person who wants to get rid of that baggage. And the more baggage you get rid of, the more identified with spirit, the more freedom you actually have. So an infant has very little control, very little freedom about what they can do. But an advanced yogi has almost unlimited capability. And so as you develop, you become freer and more capable. So if you're very limited in consciousness, you have much less capability. If you want to talk about being a doctor, if you have no training, you can't do as much as if you have training. And if you get the training, you can still use it properly or you can misuse it. So, but then you say, well, is it predestined that you use it well or not well? You see, for us, as a practical matter, it doesn't make any difference. We have to try to improve our circumstance. And only people who are consciously trying to improve themselves are getting the best results in that effort. The people who are making no effort, nothing's happening or much less is happening. So as a practical matter, whether we believe the teaching of this teacher or that teacher, it's very helpful to consciously try to improve things. And so there you have it.
So it seems the harder we work, the luckier we get. And free will does have a certain place in your destiny to unfold. Thank you so much.